What if the faces buried beneath gold, stone, and legend suddenly opened their eyes and looked back at you? Welcome to the AI History Channel, where Egypt's greatest pharaohs are no longer silent relics. History remembers them through power, beauty, and conquest. But behind every golden mask lay betrayal, illness, and the cold price of the throne. In this video, we bring 20 of ancient Egypt's most famous pharaohs back to life using AI. Stay until the end, because the final face may be history's most distorted legend. If you love buried mysteries, share this with someone who deserves the truth. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Number 20. Before there were pyramids, before there were gods carved in granite, there was a single man standing at the edge of two kingdoms. Narmer ruled around the 31st century before the Common Era, and legend credits him with uniting Upper and Lower Egypt for the very first time. His face survives not in statues, but in the ancient Narmer palette, a carved ceremonial slab showing a king in double crown striking a defeated enemy. History remembers him as the man who gave birth to Egypt. But the order he created was forged in the silence that follows conquest. Before Egypt had mythology, it had a hand that seized power without asking permission. Number 19. He sat in stone for nearly 4,500 years. Djoser ruled during Egypt's third dynasty, around the 27th century before the Common Era, and his legacy is unmistakable. The Step Pyramid of Saqqara, the first great stone monument ever built by human hands. A limestone statue still survives, hollow-eyed and stern, seated on a throne that outlasted everything he knew. History remembers him as the pharaoh who defied death through stone. But the man behind the statue was surrounded by a kingdom demanding the impossible. The pyramid stands. The silence around it remains absolute, and the man who commanded its construction vanished without a single surviving word. Number 18. He did not build one pyramid, he built three. Sneferu ruled during Egypt's fourth dynasty, around the 26th century before the Common Era, and the scale of his ambition remains staggering. He commissioned the Bent Pyramid, a monument that changed shape mid-construction as though the builders were correcting failure in real time. Then came the Red Pyramid, the first true smooth-sided structure in history. Royal reliefs hint at a face behind all that stone. History recalls him as Egypt's great experimenter, but every revision was a confession of imperfection. Before Egypt could build eternity, it had to learn failure. And Sneferu paid that price quietly, in years and stone. Number 17. He ruled a Giza that two kings before him had already made legendary. Menkaura built the third and smallest of the Great Pyramids during Egypt's fourth dynasty, around the 25th century before the Common Era. His triads, statues showing the king flanked by goddesses, survive in startling detail, each carved face precise and solemn. The public tends to measure him by the scale of what he left behind, and by that measure, he always comes up short. Not a failed king, but a man condemned to stand forever in the shadow of Khufu and Khafre. Sometimes tragedy is not erasure. Sometimes it is simply the weight of never being the largest name in the room. Number 16. He stares from a block of dark diorite, immovable, the hawk god Horus, wrapped behind his head like a crown of divine feathers. Khafre ruled during Egypt's fourth dynasty. and tradition has long associated him with the Great Sphinx of Giza, though some historians note the connection is not entirely certain. His statues project absolute authority. The public remembers him as the architect of divine kingship at its most imposing. But beneath that throne lay an empire sustained by nameless hands. They cut the stone. They bled for the stone. The face in the rock still stares outward. And the question it holds remains buried beneath the sand. Number 15. He built the largest monument ever erected by human hands. Khufu ruled during Egypt's 4th dynasty, around the 26th century before the Common Era, and the Great Pyramid of Giza still bears his name. Yet here is the paradox. The man responsible for one of history's most colossal achievements left behind almost no image of himself. A single ivory statuette, barely 2 inches tall, is the only surviving likeness. One of the most powerful rulers Egypt ever produced, reduced to a figurine that fits in a closed fist. His pyramid reaches the sky. His portrait almost disappeared from the earth entirely. He built the mountain. He nearly vanished from inside it. Number 14. He came to the throne as a child and never truly let go. Pepi II ruled during Egypt's 6th dynasty, around the 23rd century before the Common Era. Ancient records suggest his reign was among the longest of any Egyptian pharaoh, though the precise length is still debated. A small alabaster statue shows him as a boy in his mother's lap, wearing a crown already too large for his head. History grants him the title of longevity. But a throne held too long becomes a cage. The empire did not outlast the weight of his hold. Some crowns do not lift a man. They simply keep him frozen while everything beneath him falls. Number 13. Egypt had been broken for more than a century before he arrived. Rival rulers, famine, and civil war had shattered the kingdom into fragments. Mentuhotep II reunited the country around 2009 before the Common Era, founding what historians call the Middle Kingdom. His painted statues survive with vivid black skin, a royal symbol tied to rebirth. History calls him a unifier, but unification only carries meaning after things have been destroyed. The scars of a fractured kingdom do not disappear when a new king claims the throne. He restored Egypt. The question that goes unasked is what it cost him to look at what was broken before he could begin to rebuild. Number 12. There is something unusual about the face carved into his statues. Not idealized, not perfected, not smoothed into the beauty that pharaohs usually demanded from their stone portraits. The face of Senusret III is heavy-lidded and lined, worn down as if the sculptor was not recording a god, but confessing to a cost. He ruled during the 12th dynasty, around the 19th century before the Common Era, commanding military campaigns and consolidating royal power. History remembers him as a warrior king, strong and unyielding. But his stone portrait tells a different story. It says, "Power does not arrive without weight. Some faces do not display authority. They carry it, visibly, at great expense." Number 11. His reign was long and his kingdom flourished. Amenemhat III ruled during the 12th dynasty between approximately 1859 and 1813. Before the Common Era, monuments rose, irrigation projects transformed entire regions, and Egypt thrived. His portrait statues are extraordinary, sharp-featured and almost unsettling, with eyes that carry more weight than the surrounding prosperity should suggest. History honors him as one of the great Middle Kingdom builders. But greatness has edges. The dynasty that reached its peak under his hand would fracture not long after. The face in stone stares back as if it already sees what comes next. Glory does not always collapse in noise. Sometimes it quietly breaks from within. Number 10. For more than a century, Egypt had endured foreign rule. The Hyksos had held the north, while Egyptian kings governed only the south. Mosai changed that around the 16th century, before the Common Era. He drove the Hyksos out, reunified the kingdom, and opened what historians call the New Kingdom. His mummy survives, and ancient records describe a young warrior reshaping his world through fire and siege. History names him a liberator, but liberation forged in war does not come without blood. A new empire was born in burning cities and in the silence of what was left standing. The new age arrived. The cost was written in ash. Number 9. Before he became the warrior who expanded Egypt's empire to its greatest reach, he spent years in the shadow of another ruler. Thutmose III reigned during the 18th dynasty alongside Hatshepsut, who held the dominant position for much of that period. After her death, he led campaign after campaign, fighting across Canaan, Syria, and Nubia, creating one of the ancient world's most formidable empires. His mummy survives. His battle records at Karnak fill entire walls. History calls him the Napoleon of ancient Egypt. But behind the conquests was a man who had once been overlooked. He used war to etch his name so deeply into stone that no one could erase it again. Number 8. His Egypt was a palace of gold. Amenhotep III ruled during the 18th dynasty, around the 14th century, before the Common Era, and his reign stands as one of the most magnificent in Egyptian history. He built extravagantly, corresponded with foreign kings as equals, and commissioned the colossal statues known today as the Colossi of Memnon. His portraits and mummy suggest a man who indulged in luxury as his body declined. But behind that splendor, a dynasty was drifting toward rupture. He gave Egypt its most radiant face. What he could not give it was a future that would hold together once he was gone. Number 7. He was not born royal. Horemheb rose through the Egyptian military before placing the double crown on his own head. He ruled at the close of the 18th dynasty, following the religious chaos of Akhenaten and the brief reigns that came after. History credits him with restoring order, rebuilding temples, and reviving traditional religion. But restoration carries a shadow. To write a new chapter, he helped erase the old one. Names were chiseled from walls. Cartouches were removed. History was not healed under Horemheb. It was rewritten. And some of the dead were silenced a second time to make the new version of the past feel clean. Number 6. His mummy is among the best preserved in ancient Egypt. Seti I ruled during the 19th dynasty, around the 13th century, before the Common Era. His face is still recognizable after more than 3,000 years. He was a warrior, a builder of great temples at Abydos and Karnak, and the father of Ramesses II. History respects him, but history's loudest applause always follows his son, into the room. Seti built the foundation that made Egypt's next great reign possible. He never received the recognition his name deserved. He did not share the glory. He simply made it possible, then stepped into the long shadow of a legacy that swallowed his own. Number 5. She ruled one of Egypt's most prosperous eras, and she did it as a woman in a world that had written the throne for men alone. Hatshepsut reigned as pharaoh during the 18th dynasty for roughly 20 years in the 15th century, before the Common Era. She wore the ritual beard, commanded armies, and built one of the most stunning temples in the ancient world at Deir el-Bahari. History remembers her as a great ruler. Then, after her death, statues were defaced and her name removed from walls. The reasons remain debated by historians. Power had elevated her completely, and power decided that history should barely remember she existed. Number 4. He looked at every god Egypt had ever worshipped and replaced them all with one. Akhenaten ruled during the 18th dynasty, between approximately 1353 and 1336 before the Common Era, and his religious revolution remains one of the most radical acts in ancient history. He closed temples, disbanded the priesthood, and relocated the capital to a new city. His statues are deeply unsettling: elongated skull, wide hips, soft limbs. Whether this reflects artistic style, religious symbolism, or actual appearance remains debated. After his death, the revolution collapsed. His city was abandoned. His name was erased from walls. He tried to rewrite the soul of Egypt. Egypt answered by removing him from memory. Number 3. He was the last of Egypt's great warrior pharaohs. Ramesses III ruled during the 20th dynasty around the 12th century before the Common Era, repelling the Sea Peoples in campaigns still carved on the walls of Medinet Habu. His mummy survives, but forensic examination revealed a deep wound at the throat, consistent with assassination. Ancient documents describe an internal plot, a conspiracy involving members of his own household. He had defeated every enemy who crossed Egypt's borders. He could not survive the knives drawn inside his own palace. The man who saved his empire from outside forces could not protect himself from the betrayal already living inside his home. Number 2. The Golden Mask has become one of the most recognized faces in human history. Tutankhamun came to the throne as a child during the 18th dynasty, around 1332 before the Common Era. He ruled for less than a decade before dying at approximately 18 or 19. His exact cause of death still debated. His tomb, discovered in 1922 by Howard Carter, was found nearly intact, its treasures undisturbed for over 3,000 years. History gave him almost no name in life. That golden mask gave him eternity in death. Behind its beauty was a frail young king seated on a throne built for a man he never had the years to become. Number 1. She was not Egyptian by ancestry. Cleopatra VII descended from a Macedonian Greek dynasty and ruled Egypt as its last pharaoh from approximately 69 to 30 before the Common Era. She spoke multiple languages, negotiated with empires, and used alliances with Caesar and Mark Antony as tools of survival in a world Rome was consuming. History chose to remember her as a seductress. Ancient coins, relief carvings at Dendera, and surviving busts offer hints of the real face, but her appearance remains debated and distorted by centuries of myth. History kept the legend. What it buried alongside her was the last sovereign Egypt would ever know. These faces slept beneath the sand for thousands of years. If AI can bring them back, the question that remains is, what else has history chosen to forget?